Yo, 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 we live on location. Me and the blackest one still here chilling out in Orlando, staying safe. Hope you doing the same. This time we got a young up-and-coming super duper star in the building with us, man. Already been dunk contest champion. Right now he got his team #1 in the West and he's pursuing a championship. We got the young superstar out of Louisville by way of New York City. We got Donovan Spider-Man Mitchell with us, baby. Appreciate you pulling up, homeboy.
Straight up.
Sir, appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm excited to do this.
I'm real hyped for this one, man, because, like, man, you're one of my favorite players in the league. Thank you for giving us this time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad we was able to do this, man, for sure.
First question I ask everybody is, when you first got to the league, who was the first person to bust your ass?
Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, man, probably Drew Holiday.
People sleep on him. They say he's underrated.
Yeah.
I think he's the most underrated player in the league. It's like, I don't understand it. You know what I mean? If everybody in the league say he's the most underrated, I figure it should bring some attention to him. You know what I'm saying? He's still underrated, man. But I have 41 points against the Pelicans my rookie year. My first 40-point game in the league. And, you know, he was on the team. And then from that point on, like, to him, it was on.
Every time he seen you.
It was on after that. You know, we've gone our back and forth throughout the years and continuing. But, man, he was the first one. And I was like, I had the 41. So I came in the second game like, all right, cool. Like, I've had 41 of these dudes. Like, I know it's going to be the same. It's different when you kind of unexpected, everybody going under the screens. And then the next game was like they're chasing you. They blitzing you. They not helping as much. Like, you know what I mean? So stuff is different. And then on the offensive end, it was like right at my head, you know, as soon as the game started. So definitely Drew Holiday.
DWade made a powerful move and joined the ownership of the Utah Jazz.
Yes,
I know it ain't been that long, and a lot of people compare you to DWade. You had time to, you know, really chat with him and, you know, get some of his energy up off him?
Man, for sure. You know, I mean, I've been talking to Dwayne really since I got to the league. We got the same agency, so I met him my rookie year. And from there, I kind of picked his brain pretty much every year about something. You know, my first year was during the regular season and playoffs. Second year, similar. Last year, the same. And then he hit me about this being a possibility. And I was like, man, like, first off, the fact that you even doing this in general, forget being owner of the Jazz, the fact that you're doing this is a milestone for not just you, but for African-American kids all over the place. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to be able to see that, not only were you a Hall of Famer on the floor, but now you about to go ahead and own an NBA team. You know what I mean? Like that right there sets an example, sets something like that kids can see, you know, growing up where he grew up. You know, he can go back and say, man, I wasn't just Dwayne Wade, the hooper. Like, I'm the owner now. Like, you know what I mean? There's levels, like, you know what I mean? There's levels to that. So that was, for me, as a black man, that was just dope as hell to see. But as far as, you know, picking his brain, I'm pretty sure, you know, he should be out here in the next few days just to kind of chop it up with me. But just continuing to find ways to pick his brain about having a chef. That was what I did really my second year, having a chef, get my body right, what you see in the screen and roll, not just playing pick and roll with the five, playing pick and roll small, like how to get effective in the mid-range. Because, you know, he didn't shoot threes like I do, but he was a killer in that mid-range. Like, how do you get to those spots? How do you get to your spot? Managing runs in a game, you know what I mean? Like, understanding how to feel the flow of the game. You know, and I feel like that's a long
game. That's what they always tell. It's a long game. You could be up 20 in the first half, and that 20-point lead go away quick.
I feel like I can remember talking to him the day that he came to y'all game, and they announced him and all that stuff. I FaceTime with him while he was wherever in the arena, up in the box or something. And I was just like, "Yo, bro, like, this is really crazy. Like." For real, like, you putting on, like you said, for all the little kids and people, you know, that look like us everywhere, to see him do what he's doing, it's crazy, amazing. Then it's like I always, you know, said, since you got in the league and we got a chance to see you like DWade 2.0, and you just spoke on the one thing that I think is the biggest difference, like your shooting. He didn't have the range that you have, and you being able to combine those two different things, and, you know, obviously the spider and the jumping and the height and the size and the body makeup. So that's why I definitely call you DWade 2.0 because of the way you're able to extend the floor with the 3-ball.
Appreciate it. Now I just got to get better in the mid range, man. That's my next step. Getting
Oh,
better in the
man,
mid
that's
range.
hard.
That's the golden ticket right there.
That's
the
hard.
mid,
Right there.
That's
That changes the whole game.
Yeah, you in the realms of Jordan and the Kobe's and the, you know, the Durants and all the greats, you know.
Exactly.
Back-to-back championships in high school. Like, how was that for you to, you know, get to high school, lead your team to a championship? You know what I'm saying? Did you know anything about the history of your school before then? Did they win any chips
At the
before
time,
then?
yeah. At the time, yeah. So like there's like, you know, there's levels and classes. Like for us, I know how it is in different states.
Yeah. Like AA, single A, triple A.
Yeah, so you got double A. So yeah, we had triple A, which was where Brewster was at, the like where schools would have, you know, basically the kids who was going really high D1, like 1 through 10. And I was when I had switched before I switched to Brewster, I was in class C, B. So at this time, I'm a baseball player, like baseball player through and through. Like basketball was kind of the afterthought. And then I broke my wrist.
What position in baseball?
Pitcher and shortstop.
Pitcher and shortstop.
Okay, so that means you was nice. Those are good positions, huh?
Yeah, I like to say I was tough. I'm humble in everything except for when I talk about baseball. Like I was pretty good, I ain't gonna lie. But like for me, it was like, I don't know if I want to stop. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to stop playing. And I broke my wrist playing baseball and I just missed it. And then next thing you knew,
basketball.
Chris McCullough was there. And Chris McCullough was like the legend of what's it called? What do you call it? Prep basketball, New England hoops. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I go there, I'm like, man, ain't no way I'm finna play. Like these dudes is nice. I'm all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these dudes is nice. So I get there. My first practice, like it was so different. My first practice, Boeheim, Roy Williams, who was the coach at UConn at the time? Kevin Ali.
Kevin Ali.
Calhoun. Kevin Ali. Who else was there? From Virginia, Tony Bennett. Like they was all there the first day. And then I went from having like 6 Division I offers after that year to like 26 in 1 year. And so I was the one that had probably the least amount of offers out of our starting 8, you know, and the level of basketball just took off after that for me. And, you know, we ended up winning the first championship. I played with Devontae Graham, who was on the Hornets. He was the point guard. He was the guy. Like he was the guy. The way he was killing last year, everybody's seen it. Like that was a Devontae Graham I knew in high school.
Yeah.
And then my second year,
crazy backcourt, boy.
We was nice. And I couldn't do nothing I do now. Like the only thing I could do was jump back then, jump and play defense. I couldn't shoot. I didn't really have a handle like that. I was kind of just out there, you know what I mean? But I love basketball more than baseball. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna stick with it. You know what I mean? And so I must be doing something right if these coaches keep coming up to me, you know what I'm saying? So did that. And then the next year we came back and I was more groomed, you know, playing more, being able to kind of well-round my game. And then we ended up winning the chip that year too. And combined, I probably played with, I want to say 18 to 19 Division I players before I even got to college. So that made the college game, being around other dudes who are like that, easier. It made it easier.
I was just going to say, because you're seeing a lot of guys coming out their school now. A lot of guys coming on through. One of the guys I loved was Jalen LeCure. I think that's his name. LeCure, him and Terrence Clark. And like I love their group. You know what I'm saying? I was watching a lot of YouTube with them when they group was in there and doing their thing. Like y'all putting the guys out and they steady coming.
Clark, rest in peace to my guy. Rest in peace to my guy T. Clark, man. He was like a little brother to me, man. And you know, this is his shirt right here. And you know, he was talented kid, man.
I saw that in one of the slam videos or something that y'all was like FaceTiming each other, and I was like, I didn't know that, you know, that was like your little homie like that.
Yeah, I tried to take him under my wing and just show him, you know, because he was talented. Talented kid. And I was just trying to explain that people are gonna come out of everywhere to try and be your friend, be with you, like just stay steady and kind of stay with, you know, with what's ahead of you. And he had his head on straight, man. He was going out there doing his thing, working out. I knew his mom, knew his family well, and for it to happen like that, man, that shit was hard, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. He reached a lot of people, man. He reached a lot of people, and he was a special talent and a great kid too. Always
Yeah,
smiling, always.
I was about to say the one thing, I didn't know anything about him or who he was, but every video, every picture I saw, and like that
I'm
was
talking
what
about big
jumped out at
smile.
me. The biggest smile,
Big
like
The
smile,
biggest
man.
he was
smile
always
ever. Like he had
happy and
fun all the
joking and
time.
having fun. Like that's
Yeah.
definitely a tragedy that had to happen,
Yeah.
man.
Like everybody
For sure.
picture with him is just, man, big smile, man. I'm talking about bright smile, man.
Every there was never a bad day with T. Clark. That's the one thing I say. Every day was a smile.
Yeah, it looked like from the videos, like, man, his teammates loved him. Like everybody
Yeah.
loved being around him. That definitely is a big loss to a lot of kids, man. A lot of kids that come up in his class and you know, Kentucky and all that. But rest in peace, Terrence Clark. So coming out, you was highly recruited. You know, you highly recruited, you up there. How was that for you to be known as like you won the top in the country?
It was cool. I mean, it was something for me that I was kind of, you know, in a shock. Cause like I told you, I was a baseball player first. Like that was my thing. And so recruitment for me was really 2 years. Like, and it took off. So it went from like, you know, the lower D1 schools calling. And then next thing you know, it's like, boom, like Louisville, Rick Pitino on the phone. Boom, Iowa, Providence, Florida State, Kansas, UNC. I never got Duke or Kentucky, like the call from them, but like I had pretty much every other school calling, you having the head coaches call. And y'all know it's a difference when it's the assistants versus the head coaches calling you.
Is.
You know what I mean?
Scout or somebody call you. When the head coach called, that means he really wants you.
So I knew you was I knew you was a boy because you just mentioned it. Florida State recruited you. My best friend, he was the assistant there, Dennis Gates. He's now at
Dennis Gates. That's my dude.
State. So so he was telling like that's who whenever I hear about high school guys or the young guys coming through, he's always, you know, he's out on the summer recruiting. He sees everybody. So whenever I hear about people, I say, yo, D Gates, what's up with him? What's up with him? When I ask him about you, he say, yo, watch. He was like, watch him. He was like, he ain't even got to where he gonna be yet. He was like, they seeing something that ain't even gonna be what he gonna be. They were like, he ain't even learned what he really could do yet. He was like, right now, he just playing off. Because when you said you was just an athlete, that made me think about what he told me. He was like, you were just playing off athleticism and this and that. But he was like, he got a whole nother gear. But the one thing that he told me that stuck out about you, he was like, the kid work hard and he play his ass off. And I like when somebody do those, like when somebody, like when he give me that type of scouting report and he tell me like he liked the kid, like what you about, how you carry. So then when he tell me you work your ass off and you play hard, it's over with. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty much the biggest part of the recipe for me that people need to be able to make it.
Yeah, man. That's my dog, man. It was tough. I tell people this all the time, kids are being recruited. Like I tell people, that's a tough thing for 17, 18-year-old to tell a coach that you got that close bond with, that you not coming to school there. I think that's one of the toughest phone calls like ever. Like, I mean, like that's something that's like you can become real close with that coach.
Tell you, hey, you gotta be a man and go and tell him.
Exactly.
You gotta be a man and go ahead and tell him.
Exactly, man. That was a tough one because there was like a few head coaches. Him, shout out Coach Francis, who was at Iowa at the time. Like those two schools for me was like, man, like.
So there was the schools that almost got Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, they almost got me. And I tell people this all the time. Like I wanted to go to UNC. Like I didn't care if I was the last man on the bench. Like if they would have offered me a scholarship, like I would have went to UNC in a heartbeat.
Love that UNC history.
In a heartbeat. But man, when I went to Louisville, I made sure I told everybody in the locker room, I said, hey, we ain't losing to them. Like we lost. I probably lost one time, I think, but we ain't losing to them. Like they didn't offer me. And Roy's a great guy. I've talked to Roy about it. I told Roy, Coach Roy Williams, that, and I was like, man, like if only we didn't know. And he was like, you know him. He was like, God dang it, Donovan or something like that. You know how he get. But like, man, like that was the school I wanted to go to for sure. But I'm happy and everything worked out at Louisville and things have been great since.
Yeah, you chose Pitino, and Pitino got that history. You know, he's been in the game forever, and he coached some greats. What did you learn from Pitino when you was playing with him that, you know, just kind of stuck with you now, today?
I would say two things. I would say first, he has a way of unlocking something that is there that you don't know. Like you said, like you said, Dennis Gates said, like he unlocked a dog, like a fire in me. I already had a fire, but like when he just tapped into it because now you playing angry because he crazy. Like Coach P's crazy. You know, everybody knows. But like
he taught you how to control your powers now.
Yeah, but so now it's like you playing angry. You know what I mean? But like not like angry, but like it's like I don't know how to describe it, but he unleashes that dog inside of you. And for me, it was just like everybody in front of me is not better than me. Like he created that competitive nature. Him and a bunch of the assistant coaching staff that was there, they created that culture where it's like everybody, and you know that's how they kind of recruit. You know, the Russ Smiths, the Peyton Siva, the Trez, Terry. Everybody's like kind of under recruited, under the radar, and then like we always play against the better teams with the better schools of 5-star recruits. So he definitely created that hunger and that fire that was there, but he kind of took it to a different level. And then him and Ralph Willard, Coach Ralph Willard. Do y'all know who that is? So he was the assistant coach at the time, and they had told me they changed my jump shot. Like the reason why I, really kind of started shooting well is because I started to shoot, on a line drive, and then we spent the whole summer just shooting with a different trajectory. He always referred to Steph. Yeah, talking about the arc, and it changed everything. And I started shooting from farther, and I started shooting from NBA range in practice, just so I can get used to it. So when I made the transition, that was one of the things that really caught people by surprise because they didn't know I could really shoot like that.
Right.
How was it being in Louisville? And I know when you go to Kentucky, hey, University of Kentucky and them Bluegrass boys, they kind of take up most of the land down there. How was it, being in Kentucky and being at Louisville, knowing that like most of the state is rooting for the Wildcats, and y'all was good teams them years to represent and make y'all mark?
I mean, it was a story of my life, really. Like kind of under everybody, like not expecting us to win. You know what I mean? At that time, we played Jamal Murray my freshman year, Tyler Ulis, Poitras was there. Then the team we beat had Bam Adebayo, Malik Monk, Isaiah Briscoe, De'Aaron Fox, and somebody else. I'm missing somebody. So I never let them hear the end of it because that was like the last time we beat Kentucky in a very long time. But the whole state. But that one game, I will say, like, there's nothing getting crazier than that Kentucky-Louisville rivalry because it's one time a year. It's the bragging rights for the whole year, like that one game. And it's usually right around Christmas, New Year's time. So nobody's in school. Everybody like has time off and everybody come to the game. And that's definitely one of them games where it's like, that means more in Kentucky than winning a national championship.
That's what I was about to say. Like I've seen the commercials and the different things. Is it really like when you in Kentucky, it's either red and blue in your yard, and it's like some yards, some households got it's red and blue, and they fighting in this, but they like that's a real thing in Kentucky.
That's real, and everything closed down. I mean, everything from the gas station to the 7-Eleven, everything closed on that day. Like. Once 5 o'clock hit, 6 or whatever the game time is, like that's it. Like everybody's watching the game, everybody's tuning in for like that day. It's pretty wild.
What is that like to be on that type of like like the whole town, like the whole state shut down for the day, like and it's like all out. Like what type of atmosphere is that?
It's probably one of the most I was probably one of the most nervous games I've ever had. When I went to Kentucky was probably more nerve-wracking than playing at home. Because when you get there, I'm usually the first one to go out and shoot. In the student section there, they already there.
They waiting.
So exactly.
They ready to go.
They already there waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? So they out there, they got your name. They got who you dated in high school. They got who you talked to in college. They got all that stuff like written down. They got your mom, your sister, your favorite, like everything. Oh, first Instagram photo, like they got all that. It's crazy, man. It's all on these big posters. So not only are they reading it, they showing it. Like they showing it,
holding them up in there on your free throws and stuff.
Exactly. And I'm like, damn, like they really do their homework. Like they really do. They go all out, man. And then the game itself is, I will say, it's 5-on-8 when you go to Kentucky, but it's 5-on-8 when you play at Louisville too. Like it's like that. It feels like a high school game when you go play the rival team.
Yeah,
right?
that's boys be in that red zone when they come on down.
Hey, look, the referees trying to get up out of town, nice and unbothered.
How was them Lamar Jackson football games when you was there? You was going crazy with
going nuts.
it's crazy because our freshman year, he came in and replaced. So we had the starting quarterback get hurt, the second string got hurt, and then the third string wasn't playing well. So Lamar was like the fourth string our freshman year. Yeah. So then he came in and all he really was doing was running and throwing bombs. So it kind of worked some games and that was it. I don't know what he did that summer, but he came back, different dude, man. Different dude. Like my man was doing picking people apart. You know, you seen I think that was the Heisman year. Like that was the year where he just up and down the field, jumping over people, doing all these different things. Like he had campus. Like Louisville is usually a basketball team school. Like basketball kind of runs the school, so it's kind of us and him. Mm-hmm. Like you know what I mean. Like, and he was bigger than us. Like he was that guy. Yeah, he was that dude. And I will say something about Lamar. Like people consistently talk trash about him and all that, and say he's not this, he's not that. Couldn't be more humble. Couldn't be more grounded. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't know he's Lamar Jackson if you had a conversation with him. What I think is pretty dope because the amount of stuff that was thrown his way that he had to navigate as a college student, I can only imagine. You know what I'm saying? Like he handled it well, still handling it well, and props to him and shout out to Lamar, man.
Shout out to Lamar. When you knew they were like, yeah, man, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go in the draft and put my name in the draft and, you know, see what I can do up there. There's nothing else in college that I can do. I want to, you know, go to the next level.
Honestly, I left the draft to go to work out in LA. I paid for everything because I didn't know if I wanted to really leave. Didn't know if I was going to be good enough to make it. And then I worked out and it was CP and Paul George, 2 separate conversations, and CP's brother, CJ. So 3 separate conversations.
Shout out CJ.
My agent told me I was good enough. Yeah, shout out to CJ too, man. People don't know a great dude in CJ. The trainer at the time who worked for the agency was telling me I was good enough. And you know, we're growing up in those AU tournaments, everybody tell you agents only want your money. They ain't looking at what's best for you. So at the time, I tell my agent this all the time. Like he was like, you're gonna be your first round pick. I'm like, shoot, I ain't listening to you, bro. Like I ain't listening to you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you tell me the truth or not. So then I had a conversation with those 3 about 2 weeks into my trip. And I was like, shoot, I mean, if they saying it, they're not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Like if they saying it, then clearly they must see something. And from that point on, I called the coach and I was like, look, like this is what I'm about to do. And I'm about to go ahead and make that jump. And from there it's continued. I did like 14, 15 different workouts. And that's how it came about.
He was like me, D-Miles. See, D-Miles he was special. He was top 3. He went and had steak dinners and hollered at the sit down and had nice little meetings. Meanwhile, I was flying around the country having 18, 19 different workouts trying to figure it out.
Nah, I bust a lot of ass in workouts when I was coming up in the workout. We could still play against each other. So them boys was getting it.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Them workouts, that's probably that's a grueling process, man. Having to fly around 14, it's like 14, 15. You had 18, you said, right? Like in a month,
Something
month, 2 months.
Yeah, that's how it be. That's a couple of weeks.
That's like that's for your future too. Like it ain't like you just do it. Like that's for your future. Like you know what I'm saying? That's a tough process for sure.
How was it when you got to hear your name get called and you got to walk across that stage and shake the man's hand? Did you have you had silver or star?
Yeah,
silver.
So how was that for you? I know that's everybody's dream to get that handshake and to be up there in that moment. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, like you said, you dream of that moment, you know, your whole life. You get up there and you hear your name called. I got my family here with me, and then I got some of my families up in the suite, up in the Barclays. So I'm back home, and all my friends and family in the crowd, like all that's happening.
Yeah, that's right. And
you know, for that to happen. I didn't even think I was going to be in the green room until a week before, because they only invite the top, 18, 17 people in there. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, like you've seen some people that kind of stay in there until the second round. I was like, man, like I don't know where I'm going to go. And to be honest with y'all, to start the day, like I thought I was going to be going to the Hornets. Mm-hmm. Like, so I was like, shoot, all right, I'm going to 11, I'm going to Charlotte. I'm wearing Jordan. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, I'm thinking everything would have been
he got
different.
it
Like, that's what I was
I'm
thinking.
about to be Jordan.
Like, I'm like, all right, this is the plan. Like, I'm gonna be in Charlotte. It's a 2-hour flight from the crib. Mom, Dad, like, this is what we're gonna do. This is so then we get there and then they pick Malik Monk. So now I'm stuck. I'm like, ooh, all right. Like, I might be going to Detroit. I didn't miss. They picked Luke. I didn't work out for Denver, but I didn't know there was a trade going on. So they picked me. So I was happy, but I was like, man, like, I'm trying to think of all the guards they had. I'm like, damn, they got Jamal, they got Gary Harris, they got Malik Beasley, they got this dude, and that dude. That's 5 guards. And then you got me, that's 6. And as I'm walking down, I think it was Maria Taylor. She was like, you got traded. And you see, I don't know if you ever see the video, like I'm smiling like a little extra because I'm like, man, like I wanted to go to Utah. They was great to me. Like, they was cool. Like, I love the city. The people were great. So I was like, man, I'm happy to go there. And so yeah, that was the whole moment.
How was it for you when you went Utah, you look at the roster, you see Gordon Hayward was been their best player the last few years, and Gratai, I mean, and all that stuff. Like, how was it for you to see Gordon like leave?
Yeah.
And now you hear and it's like, all right, so I'm here, and they had these low expectations, but they believed in you because you started rocking.
Right. When Gordon left, I didn't know how that would impact me. I looked at myself as like a guard, and there was still people in front of me we had signed. So Gordon left, but we had signed Ricky Rubio. We had Ronnie Hood. Joe Johnson was still there. So they still had some pieces from the team that had just played in the second round the year before. So I'm like, all right, let me just try and find it. Let me crack the rotation. Let me get like 6 rebounds, 8 points. Like that's the goal. Like, me try and find a way to do that. Like, that was my thought process. We get through the first half of the season, or first few months of the season, 2 months, I think. And then by November, and I give a huge credit to Coach Quinn, man, for believing in me and kind of putting the ball in my hands on a team that had just made the playoffs, kind of searching and didn't really know what we were going to be, whether we were going to make the playoffs, we were going to be a lottery team. And at that point, we were kind of making our way out the playoffs. We were like 19-30, and then we went on a crazy 15-game win streak or something like that. But like, I give Coach credit. He saw something, and I was just like, man, like, all right, go ahead. Like, next thing you know, it's 25, 28, 30, 33, like, and it's consistent, throughout the year. And, we ended up surprising a lot of people. And then we ended up making the playoffs that year against a team that had beaten us. They swept us. They swept us my rookie year. 4 of them. I think it was 4-0 or 3-1 or whatever. But it was Russ, PG, and Melo. And they had killed us throughout the whole year. And then we get to the playoffs, and we just went out there, and I had a series that I was just like, man, like, I'm playing against Melo, who I grew up watching when I went to Knick games. I tried to copy all the moves that Russ was doing when he's out here dunking on people. And then PG a few months ago told me that I should be in the league. Like, now we in a playoff series. Like, that for me, that was one of my, everybody asked my welcome to the NBA. I mean, I had a few of those, but that was kind of a surreal one for me. And, we get to that playoff series, and I'm just coasting through, and we're doing our thing, and we end up winning that one. So it was crazy how you go from the goal was to get 8 and 6 and just make the rotation to then being honestly where I'm at now. I think I'm definitely blessed and lucky for that opportunity that came, and continue to put the work in.
Yeah, that's 3 Hall of Famers right there. That was a big
straight up.
That's a big series, and man, you played mature, you played well. You know what I'm saying? You made a few mistakes, but man, it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's all you could do, being how many years you in the league. You didn't have that type of experience and nothing like that. What I have noticed from you now, you know what I'm saying, you getting that experience early and so forth on, you very patient now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't like how your first year, you kind of bulldozing a little bit, and you know what I'm saying, just going. But like, I see your patience, waiting for the picks and making sure guys really getting picked instead of going ahead and run and stuff. So how is that for you to kind of see the game and the game slow down a little bit for you this early?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This early.
And I it's crazy because it comes with a lot of film. I think that's one of the most underrated aspects of the game is watching yourself and watching the bad highlights, like watching the bad ones, like the bad games, the bad possessions. So for me, like you said, setting up the pick and roll is huge. Not just, all right, here he comes, let me just take off. Like, let me just use my athleticism. Because now You playing the Drew Holidays, you playing the Paul Georges, the Klay Thompsons, the dudes who are just as athletic or can slide their feet just and be able to stay in front of you. So now you're making it harder on yourself, you know, setting the guy up, coming off the pick and roll. The only thing that's not the rim, like, you know, you got Rudy on the lob. And then this year, the past 2 years, what we have excellent shooters. So it's made my life so much easier. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm coming off, it's like, shoot, you want to help? All right, cool. Like, Boyan's in the three. You don't want to help? All right, cool. I got a layup. You know what I mean? And kind of repping that out. But it starts with being able to see what I was doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? But then there's no experience like going through it in the game, going in through a season over and over again. So for me, it's like, okay, you've been here before. You've seen every coverage. Now, how do you manipulate it? You know what I mean? And there's definitely areas that I can definitely improve in, but I can feel the game slowing down. And you hear everybody say that, and you don't really know until you're going through it, and you're like, this is what everybody's talking about. This is what everybody's saying. It's a possession at a time.
It's a possession at a time.
Like, you know exactly what's about to happen before it happens. Exactly. Yeah. You kind of can come down and pick apart.
But one of the things that I always respected about you, because a lot of people, I don't know, some people be scared to do it, but you got out there and you got in a dunk contest, and you know what I'm saying, you actually got to win it. Just tell me about how that was, because I know as a kid, you know, that was one of the things that I always watched. I wished I would have became a good enough dunker to compete in the dunk contest, but I got to shoot threes out there. But just tell me how that experience was for you as a rookie, being out there on the stage that I know you didn't watch so many times growing up, and then to actually get to win and be up there and you get your moment that you didn't watch so many times. People stand up there and hold a trophy. Like, some of the legendary guys, like, how was that for you to get that moment as a rookie right away?
I mean, honestly, it was crazy because I didn't get selected as the main four. I only
are you a replacement?
Yeah, I was a replacement. So Aaron Gordon got hurt. And then I only had 2 weeks to kind of prepare. So So I was like, shoot, all right. Every dunk I did, I've been doing since high school. So like the first one when I threw it off the other basket, that simulates like a wall in high school, you know, where you have the wall behind the basketball. So like that was the same thought process, and everything else I had already been doing. And once I made the first one, like, you good after that. Like, for me, it's like you just got to make the first one. And then everybody else started missing. Exactly. Everybody started missing. So then my confidence grew even more. So I'm like, okay, like, because I thought Dennis would have won hands down. Like, Dennis is, I know y'all seen the tapes. Like, Dennis Smith got some crazy bounce.
Like you said,
it's ridiculous.
Let me ask you this: when you right before you got ready to dunk, you sitting on the little box and stuff, and you know the world is watching. It's jam packed in here, and you got all your peers, all KD, LeBron, all them on the side. Like, what was the nerves at, and where was the butterflies at in that moment when you kind of sitting there and you just breathe, and then you know you finna come up next, commercial break, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what helped us was I wasn't sitting on the bench. So what I did was after I dunked, I went, because I changed every fit. So every dunk, I changed my fit. So I would leave. So I left until it was like my turn. So I wasn't really thinking about.
So you didn't get all that. You didn't get that raw.
Yeah, kind of just eliminated all that. I need to hear nobody else say nothing to me.
Nah, see,
everybody got their own little advice to give you. I'm like, man, I don't want to hear none of that right now. Like, I'm in my own zone. So I left every chance I got and then came back on the floor.
I got the opportunity to be on the front cover of the Slam. And I know coming up, man, seeing the front cover of Slam and everybody was on the front cover, you know, we always want to be right smack dead on the front cover. And how was it for you to be on the front cover of Slam, something that you've been looking at since high school? It's part of the culture. And now they got you representing it, and it's just you on the front cover.
Yeah, the fact that it was just me, I think, was crazy to me. You know what I mean? Because you see Slam covers, it's like, you know, maybe 2, 3, 4, you know, 5 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that iconic photo shoot. What was that? Was it 90? Not 96. What it was like
draft class.
96 draft class. Like for me, they were like, man, like they want to come do it with me. So I'm like, yo, like this is crazy. I still got it in my house. It's big as hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. You gotta have it, right? You gotta have it. Big poster.
But like, exactly. And you know, for me, it was just like, man, like a lot of stuff my rookie year happened so fast. I wish I took more time to kind of savor each moment, you know what I mean? Because it just happened. Like everything was just happening. But like I never forget that we shut the whole arena down and everybody was just taking photos and stuff like that. And it was a moment that I'll never forget. Moment that I'd be able to at least show my kids, be like, look, your dad was somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like your dad did something. You know what I'm saying? So
boy.
Exactly. So it was definitely a pretty dope moment for sure.
Now it's your first All-Star game. Now you know it's not the rookies game. This is you part of the elite. Like how was that to be in your first All-Star game, mom, sister, get a chance to experience it and see it? You know what I'm saying? Like how was that for you?
The big game.
That whole weekend for me was just wild. Like, you know, just being able to be, because you see certain things like growing up, you see things in cameras, you see spread like bits and pieces, like, but then for you, now you that person.
You
like
got all that behind the scenes action. You can see all the talk in the locker room.
Exactly. So for me, it's like we had a meeting where both teams come and meet and talk to Adam and Michelle. And I sat down and I could see everybody in the room. And I'm sitting there, and it's CP, it's Bron, it's Russ, it's what else was there? It's Giannis, it's all so many dudes that you're looking at like, man, like, you know, you're doing it. Like what you accomplish, your goals, you're kind of getting there, you know. And I'm in this room sitting with these guys, like I'm a part of that. You know what I mean? You're a part of this, and you know, you always know that I feel like I belong. Like there's definitely that time where I'm past that point where I know I belong in the league, but there's always moments throughout where you kind of can sit back. And that's one thing I love doing, is just sit back and reflecting on where I'm at and where I'm currently at. You know what I mean? And for me, it's like, man, that moment for me, being able to sit in that room and to be a part of that, like is something that's truly special. And I hope to continue to experience those as my career goes along. But that was definitely a special moment.
Yeah, you only get that first one time. That was big.
Exactly.
I don't know about the world, but I know for me, Utah Jazz was the team that made me take Corona serious. You know, like how was that experience? I think I was playing against CP3 and them, and they pulled y'all off the court. And just take us back to last year, like, you know, when all this is coming along, because we don't know. We don't know what's going on, you know, and everybody is saying this, everybody's saying that, but like for me, like I said, I can't speak for the world, but for me, when I knew it was serious, it was when the league told y'all that y'all couldn't play. Like, take us back to that moment.
That was, in a word, I mean, crazy. You know, out of a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you felt like you was just in one of them scary ass movies, and like the world was watching you. You know what I'm saying? And we were in the locker room for what was it? Then what was it, like 7 hours, 8 hours?
Yeah, I
after
know.
the game.
Because I was at work. I got over. They were like, they still there.
Yo, we was in there for a minute, and you know, it was kind of to a point where we just didn't know what the hell. We didn't know if we had it, because at this point in time, we're doing the tests that go all the way up to here. You know, the tests have changed now. We're doing the test.
Yeah.
Oh, so I wouldn't wish that on nobody. It felt like they were tickling my brain when they were thinking of that deep.
But yeah, so that was just a wild moment, you know. And then once we left, we got to the hotel that night. I found out I had it. And for me, it was just many emotions. Biggest thing for me was, you know, because at that time, there was a kid that had died in high school from it. You know, so we really didn't know the age range. We didn't know how serious it was. So I was like, all right, like, am I gonna be okay? And my immediate thought, because I had just seen my family 3 days, but prior to that, like my mom and sister and my dad, like, are they gonna be good? And they had gotten tested immediately, and you know, everything that happened, man, it was just a wild time. And then to go and sit in your house for, like, I couldn't leave my room for like 14 days straight, you know what I mean? And as I felt, I'm thankful I had no symptoms. Thankful Rudy's symptoms were minor, you know, for after the first 2 days. But, you know, that was something that was just a scary ass feeling, man. And, you know, then from that, we sitting at the home, like you said, Q Rich, for months, not knowing what the hell going on, not knowing if we playing, not knowing if the world gonna shut down. We don't know what. Everybody had their own little theories of like, oh, this is what's gonna happen in 3 months. 3 months later, we get there, ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't know what was going on.
During that time, like when you waiting, like you hear all the stories about what guys was doing to stay ready. What were you doing to try and, you know, just be as ready as possible for whenever anything? Like, at what point did you start like preparing? Like, or was it right when you got well from the, from your battle with it, and then, once you were good to go? Like, when did you start just like, I gotta be trying to do something because we don't know how long it's gonna last?
Yeah. I took a month probably off, month or so of just doing nothing. Well, I mean, I would do a little something, but a month of not thinking about playing basketball, because at that point in time, I was like, shit, we ain't playing. Like,
Right.
there ain't no way we finishing the season. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then, with my assistant coach at the time, who's with the Knicks now, Johnny Bryant, we kind of put a plan together. It was like, look, whether we play or not, let's be ready. So we kind of attacked it through film sessions, and that's one thing I say that really helped me, was just kind of before I got to the bubble, was attacking it. Who did I struggle against? Why did I struggle? What coverage were they in? Why wasn't I successful against a coverage against this team, but I was able to do it against a different team? Is it height? Is it length? Is it speed? Is it, finding ways? Why am I not hitting guys who are open in the high quadrant or who are open in the corner? Like, literally attacking every day was something different. I was kind of had like homework per day, kind of getting to that film session. The running and stuff, I go for a jog. I didn't have a gym in my house at the time. I didn't really have much, but I go for a jog and try and stay in shape that way. But the biggest thing was the mental part of the game.
Black?
And I felt like that was, for me, that's when I would say that the game slowed down for me. After that going into the bowl, because I had to literally attack every possible situation that I was going to see on the floor, because we ain't doing shit else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we in the house ain't doing nothing. So literally attacking it every way possible through film. That was one way I felt I got better, for sure.
When you heard that y'all was going to continue the season and it was going to be this bubble, what were your thoughts on that? You thought it was going to work and you were going to be prepared for it?
I didn't want to go at first, to be honest with you. I did not want to go. I didn't know if it was going to work. There was so many unknowns that it was just like, for me, I didn't want to leave my family and leave the house and kind of do that. But, for me, my family was okay with it. My sister, I talked it out. And my teammates were like, look, if we're going to go, we're going to go as a group. Like, we're going to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be like we just there to show up. And we were there. Like, obviously it was no secret. It's about collecting money too. Like, for sure, we do this job for money too.
Right.
But, like, we was like, look, we're going to go. Like, we're going to go to try to compete for a chip. We ain't just finna just go there and just be there. You know what I'm saying? And I felt at that point, it was like, okay, like, the coach did a great job. Like, we had Zoom sessions once a week, once every 2 weeks, kind of going over who we going to play, whether it's Houston, it's Dallas, it's Denver, like, kind of going over schemes, and we kind of were engaged that way as a group. And I felt like that was one of the things that kind of got me on board with, like, all right, like, we're going to do this. Like, we're going to go out there and, compete. And at that point in time, it was like, all right, let's get it. Like, let's go find a way to do it and go from there.
Shout out to the NBA, man. I feel like they did a great job.
That was, to pull that off was amazing.
It was a unique look, because I never seen NBA basketball with no fans and the big screen on the side and all that stuff. So it was a different look than we was used to, but we was very entertained. But one of the best playoff scoring series we got an opportunity to see, you and Jamal Murray going in. And how was that tournament for you? Like, to see another player over there, just holding his wheel up and just trying to just score as much for his team and doing everything for his team, and you right back at him, and to go through that battle. How was that for you?
I felt like, both of us kind of took a step, with that. I think at the end of the day, no fans, it's the playoffs. It's just kind of you and I at a point, where it's like, you go score, all right, well, I got to go ahead and match that, kind of like a street ball mindset, within the flow of the game too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we had lost Bojan, who was a 20-point per game scorer at the time. So we had to get it. And then Mike Conley had a baby, so he was out the first 2 games. We were kind of like, oh shit, like, all right, we got to figure this out. And then the 57-point game happened, and then I was like, all right, well, I can't do all of it. Like, I'm gonna have to find ways to create. And so then I was able to map out and put those scoring performances with assists, while being efficient, you know what I mean? And I think that was something for me that allowed me to grow. But Jamal and I have been going back and forth, man, since high school. Like, people don't know that about us. Like, we played in all-star games against each other. In college, we played against each other. He went to Kentucky, went to Louisville, and then throughout the league, and the only difference is this time it was on the national stage. Like we even had our battles throughout, Denver, Utah before, but the only difference is now we do it in the playoffs, and it was a lot of fun, man. It was a great competition, and we still talk about it all the time, but like, I think the best thing about it is you saw the competitiveness, not just within ourselves, but within our teams. We saw a lot about each other as a team throughout that entire series.
How unique was it of a situation where it was like, y'all having these crazy battles, 50-point games, and then y'all got to walk back to the hotel and y'all might walk past each other and see each other right over there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, I remember y'all had like a video at one point, like you was trying to chill and he was like over there, or vice versa or something. I remember seeing that.
That's what it was. That's what the whole campus was. And there was a point where we were on the floor above them or below them. So we were one floor removed so like we get to the elevator, buses leave at the same time. Like you on the elevator, it's like me, Michael Porter, a video dude, our video dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was weird, but like you kind of just kept your headphones on and was just like, all right, like I ain't talking to you right now. Like, you know what I mean? It was still a business mindset. Like we got to go out there and do what we got to do. But it was definitely weird, especially after when we lost game 7, we had to see him. Like I didn't want to fucking talk to him after, you know what I'm saying? But like, it was definitely weird seeing them after games like that. But it was definitely a tough series. And looking back on the bubble, it was a great experience, and we got a lot done on and off the floor too.
Absolutely.
How was it this year for the team? Because like, man, y'all played good to be the #1 seed in the West. A lot of people didn't expect y'all to be the #1 seed in the West, which they kind of call that's the hardest the conference. Like, how is that for you to accomplish that with the team now? You know what I'm saying? I know it's not, like no moral victories, but like, that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that bubble. It goes back to losing game 7, and the message and the tone after the bubble was, don't forget this. We had an opportunity up 3-1, and we let our foot off the gas. We stopped paying attention to the little details, and you saw the carryover this year. Every game, there were games that we lost last year by a lot that we either come back and win, or we're up by a lot and we make it a close game and we keep it up by a lot. And you know how that goes, but can you up 30, and you just like, I bet we up 30. Like the great teams, the teams that win championships, like they don't let their foot off the gas. Like no matter who's in the game, no matter how you feeling, no matter what the road trip looked like you have a 4 and 5, that fit, like, that 4th game in wherever, that's a game you win. That's what championship teams are supposed to do. It's not like, we're going to blame it on the 4 and 5. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, that's the mindset for us this year. And I felt like you saw that accumulate. You saw that kind of cultivate, throughout the entire season.
Great team.
And then we did it. Exactly. And now we got to go out here and prove it come playoff time.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how much Bogdan meant for y'all. I said that last year working on NBA TV. I said it, he was a huge piece, a 20-point scorer. Not being there is huge. He's able to shoot, stretch the floor, do some playmaking and some other things. And so I felt like he was a huge part of the push forward y'all had this year as well, having him back.
100%. He did it when I was out for like 19 games. He averaged 25 points. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was going out there. He had 48.
That first game you was out, he had like 40 or something like that.
Yeah, he had a 48-point game. Like that's what he can do. He can go ahead and score, and he had an up and down year up to that point. And, he's hitting his stride at the right time of the year.
How is it talking to John Stockton, the legend? Like, we don't see John Stockton like the Loch Ness Monster. We don't see him nowhere but Gonzaga games. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that, man? Because he's one of the greats to ever do it.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him or Carl that much in the recent 2 years. I think my first 2 years I spoke to them because they were around a little bit more. Obviously with COVID, things have been crazy different and different. But usually they would be in like a little room out across from the locker room, and just being able to see their presence, they come in and say hello and kind of just talk to them about their days. Obviously Hall of Famers, legends. But the one thing I always remember he told me, and we were just talking about this, was the patience, the poise. Like being able to find that. In your second year, you hear that from everybody, so you're like, all right, I don't know what that is yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find that. Like, you know what I mean? And and then you get to a point where you find it and you're like, Like that's what you were saying. That's I get it now. You know what I mean? So they've been great. Utah loves them to death. And you know, when things open back up, I assume they'll be back around and being able to kind of be with us and kind of give us more gems.
Tell me about the impact that Keyon Dooling has had on the team, because he's somebody that, you know, obviously that's our brother. We came in, I've known Keyon since I was 13 years old.
And early today.
And, you know, we played 4 years, and like that's been our boy forever. We just know how he has that infectious personality and how he's able to lift up a whole room and just the mood and just talk about the impact he's had. I every time I'm on TV and I would see y'all doing well working on NBA, I always yell out something random like, that's the Keyon Dooling effect. How they number one, how y'all about, but like I know he's not, you know, the main thing, but like just talk about the impact that he's had coming there, because I know what type of great guy he is. One of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, he you know how we talked about Terrence Clark not having a bad day? Like I've never seen KD have a bad day. Like every day, man. And we work, he's my guy. So we work out, we do all our workouts together every day. Man, like he could win the Mr. Positivity Award every year, every day.
Yes.
Like he's always, you know, geeking everybody up. You know, we got a big game. Always he's putting that, we feel like that battery pack on everybody, put it on everybody's back. Like he's charging people up. He's always in a good spirit, man. And I think we had some tough stretches to start the year. Like we lost by, I think it was like 30 to Brooklyn, and then we lost to New York, and he was in there like, man, just all smiles. Like this ain't nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and kind of giving you that lightheartedness, understanding that, yeah, this is what you do, this is your job, but like there's life. And you know what I mean? Like there's a life that you have outside of basketball, and enjoying that, and enjoying the days, and enjoying the opportunities that you have every day, not taking them for granted. And that's kind of what I was referring to when I said kind of putting yourself where your feet are, like right now, and kind of seeing where you at, because it's like, man, like, you know, these are experiences that you're going to last a lifetime. You know, the game is great and you want to achieve all these different accomplishments. But I would say the one thing he like taught me for sure is just enjoying where you at, like enjoying where you at, take everything. Don't take anything for granted, and just having a great mindset and great positive vibe.
He was somebody. When I saw he was going to be getting that job, I was extremely excited for him, because he was somebody that just being around him, you know what the value he brings to that type of a setting, and what he can do to help, because we experienced it on a day-to-day basis for 4 straight years, and you know, just every time you talk to him, he's exactly what you said. He's that joke, that uplifting spirit, that energy. I don't care what's going on, what's happening. When the DZ call you, I'm about to be smiling, laughing, and feeling a little bit better, or a lot better than I was already feeling. Like, no question.
Exactly.
So shout out to the DZ, man.
Shout out to
KD. Shout out to KD.
Now, this question don't really have nothing to do with Q. It's for us dunkers, you know. So what was your favorite dunk on since you've been in the league so far?
I'll probably say the Houston one. I'll probably say the Houston one, where I missed the floater, caught it and dunked it
back.
Yeah,
that was cheating. You wasn't supposed to be able to do that at your height and your size and everything. So I'm gonna put some respect on that one.
Yeah, that was the face I made when I'm hanging on it was like a shock. Like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? I caught it. You know what I mean? That's something you do like when you by yourself, like messing around, like not to go for 3 people in a playoff game
or something. You know what I'm saying? You don't really get them like that off in the game. You usually miss the tip.
Exactly. So for me, it was just like that one right there definitely is like number 1 in my book for sure.
Hey, this is a question I need to know. Like, you know, he talk about dunks and stuff. I follow you on social media, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about when you first made the NBA. You know, I know you took care of mom, dudes, make sure sis straight, pops and all that. I seen you coming into the in game. You got some nice jewelry. I don't know what type of whip you got, but what did you get when you got that big boy bag? I saw you was somewhere on the island when jumped in the pool, but what did you, what I want to know the ignorant purchase that you got that your mama and daddy might looked at you like, boy, what's, and you was like, I did it though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we all had that moment.
Yeah.
What did you do? What did the Spider-Man do?
I got a Lamborghini truck. Within like a month, I think a month after. Yeah, a month after that, that was the first thing I went ahead and bought, and I had it tricked out and every possible way, got my logo in the seat.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I remember them logo days.
Fancy. Fancy.
I did everything possible, man.
Oh, yeah,
that
you
was
got to do it. You got to do it.
had to.
Where did the nickname Spida come from? Like to have this moniker now. Like I see the shoes, they put the Spider-Man joints
That's
designs
a dope
on them. Like
nickname.
that's like a hard
that's
nickname.
Going down in the history books of nicknames now.
Where did that nickname come from, and how did you get it?
Yeah. So my team, when I was about 8 or 9, we playing AAU, and my teammate's dad gave everybody nicknames. It's crazy. Myself, Eric Pascal from the Warriors, and Ty Jerome for the Thunder. We were all on the same AAU team, so we all had these nicknames, and we had this press, the diamond press, the 1-2-2 or the 1-3, whatever
diamond
it was.
Press. Okay.
Now it's
Hey,
1-3-1-1. That was
exactly. And I was over there just getting a bunch of steals in the front of the press, and I was just like completely unstoppable in the front of that press. And he was like, "Man, you out here, like, you got to hear him say it's like you out here spinning your web," and he would do trying to do the motion
right
while he was doing it, like he's spinning your web. He's like, "Call me Spida," and then I kept it, and then you know how you have those kids that would call themselves something, but no one else would call them that in high school. Like that was me. Like I was called my name is Spida. Like I was calling myself that. Like, nobody would ever call me that except for me. And then it wasn't until I won the dunk contest that it took off. It just took off and it blew up. So that's where it came from.
Is it true that you wear 45 because you a Jordan baby, and when Jordan came back wearing the 4.5, that was it for you?
Yeah, and he wore it in baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
So like that's me paying homage and staying true to my baseball.
That's hard.
That's dope because a lot of people run to that 23, quit.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't run to that 45 like that.
That 45.
Exactly.
See, I'm gonna just keep it real with you though, Spida. I don't disrespect. I like you. I like the number, but in Chicago, that's a no-fly zone, man. We don't really like remember that phase. The 45. That's why we was grateful and go back 23. Like it just didn't feel right to us.
And I feel like for me, it was just like I was just different than that. Like everybody wanted to be 23. Everybody wanted to be like, and 23 ran out. Like the jerseys, like I wasn't able to get it. So I was like, shoot, how can I go about this? Fuck it, I'm gonna wear 45. And then from there, it just like took off. But yeah, no, 45 is. I know I can only understand in Chicago, 45 ain't a famous number out there.
Start, bench, cut. You got to start one, you got to bench one, you got to cut one. DWade. Allen Iverson. Tracy McGrady.
Yeesh.
You got to start one. I don't want to say cut. You got to start one, bench one, and trade one.
I know who's starting.
You got to start DWade.
I told you.
Got to start DWade. I'm a bench AI. I'm a trade T-Mac. And this kills me, man, because T-Mac is my guy with Adidas. We went on a tour in China together.
T-Mac, that guy, that's my guy.
T-Mac is my dude. I don't know. I mean, just those
AI
two
to
right
come
there.
off the bench like Clarkson, huh?
Facts. Man, he about to win 6th man of the year tonight too. He about to win that shit tonight too. Man, that's a tough one for me, but I think start D, bench AI, and trade T-Mac.
I want to talk about your SPIDACARES Foundation to empower women all over. Just tell me how you came up with that and what inspired you to do that.
The biggest thing for me, my mom raised my sister, myself, and for me it was like I saw how hard she worked just to get us to go to private school.
Right.
Like, I was fortunate enough to go to private school, and she worked her tail off just to get us to go there. She sacrificed everything.
Way to go, Mom.
She was doing well.
Yeah. Salute, Mom.
She was doing well in life. You know what I mean? Like she was doing well, like making good money, and she decided to stop all that to provide us in that proper education to see us do better. And I don't think not all parents necessarily do that for their kids.
True.
A lot of them do, but not all parents do that. And for me, it was like, okay, how can I, now that I'm in a position to take care of people, how can I, in my foundation, and my mom's the head of the foundation, how can we, find ways to help single mothers, women in general? Because at the end of the day, Black women and women in general are just like underappreciated with everything they do. At the end of the day, Q, you wouldn't be here. D, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be. Nobody would be here without women. You know what I mean? And I feel like they don't get the respect they deserve. So for me, it was like empowering women in any way possible. And my mom's a teacher, or was a former teacher. So empowering women in that field, you know, in basketball, as doctors,
empowering, man. You gave 12 million to your mom's old school. Like, what, bro? Did you just buy a new school? What you doing? Like that was that. First of all, salute, and that's amazing. But like, that's empowering on a whole nother level. All I could think is anything those kids at that school need is coming. Like, talk about how that was
my biggest thing. Like, so it's through scholarships, and I also built a new gym for the school. So for me, it was like I went to private school. Schools predominantly white kids, you know, in Greenwich, Connecticut. And for me, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want kids who would never even think about going to this school because they wouldn't be able to have the funds to go to this private school to be able to have that education that I had, because I'm able to see so many things in this NBA business first, you know, NBA business, because of where I got my education. And I can only imagine, like, we go into AAU tournaments at 13, 14, my friends are going to work at Goldman Sachs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like there's a difference, you know, between white American and black American in that, right? Like, you know, the only outlets that a lot of our kids feel like is rapping and hooping, you know, but like understanding that there's more to that, you know what I mean? So being able to take kids from outlets. Exactly. From areas that necessarily wouldn't be able to go to these schools and say, look, I'll pay for it. Go ahead, get this education, better yourself, get the grades, do this, do that, or be able to open yourself and connect yourself to people that are going to be successful in life. And so you can see it and pass it down to your kids, pass it down to your family, being able to open your eyes to stuff that you've maybe never seen before. So that was what I wanted to do, because I'm very thankful that I was able to go to private school, because it's opened my ears and eyes to things I've never even experienced. You know, I've gotten lost. I'll never forget, in third grade, I got lost in my friend's crib. When I went over to their house, because it was that big, you know what I mean? And that was a fuel for me to be capable. Like, I want that. Like, how do I go about doing that? You know what I mean? You never know what that is for a kid, that trigger to be able to get them to just start doing whatever it is in life. So that was really, for me, the biggest thing when we decided to donate the money.
You bought your little sister a car, right?
Yeah, I did.
How does it feel to be the best big brother in the world? And you know you got your mom something, but you got the opportunity to get your sister something dope. Like, how is that?
It's great, man. And when she sees this, I hope she understands she still got to work for this, but like I hope she doesn't understand that, like, you know, for me, like, I've always wanted to see my sister stun on everybody. Like, that's just, for me, that's the ultimate feeling. Like, you want to go,
you got to do that. You got to find that one family member I'm going to stunt through.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you go ahead, like, you got it. Like, what do you want? You got it. You know what I mean? I feel like with her, she gave up so much traveling with me from state to state. You know what I mean? Not going to friends' house, not going to parties, traveling me sitting in a hot ass gym for 5 hours, and then going to go sit out for a 9-inning baseball game. So for me, it was like, man, like, how can I repay you? You know what I mean? And for me, it's like, shit, whatever you need, you know, she's gonna be good for life. You know what I mean? And I think that was the biggest thing, and I let her know. But at the end of the day, you're still working for it, but like, you're gonna be good regardless.
As it
got
should
the motivation
be.
to work for it.
As it should
exactly.
be. Well, man, I
with the 4-5 now.
Hey, listen, I definitely just want to salute you, man, and tell you that we, as some OGs in the game, appreciate you and the way you represent yourself and your family, all the good that you're doing back in the community, and not just the money that you paying and the things you're doing financially, but you showing up and the words that you speaking and the things that you standing for and you living by. Man, we appreciate you being a young dude coming up, young superstar in the game, and you using your platform and using everything at your resources the right way, and trying to be a better person and make the place and people around you better, man. We appreciate that.
For sure, and I appreciate y'all, man. And this is dope. Like I said, everybody, you know, seeing y'all do y'all podcast, continue to shine light on not just myself, but us athletes as Black men and men in general, and just continuing to put us on that platform, and y'all keep doing your thing, man. It's really it's motivating for real. So I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Spider Mitchell, y'all. Appreciate you pulling up, homeboy. That was dope.
Appreciate it.